Until now, there is no generally accepted list and classification of style in linguistics. The reason for this that in different countries, many linguists have their own opinions about classification of style. According to Vinogradov, its allocation of such major public function of language here uh, as dialogue, the message, and influence such styles could be distinguished in the general plan of structure of language. For example, function of dialogue, function of the message, and function of influence. According to Leach and M. Short, they point out that the style refers to the way in which language is used. And nowadays, there are number of functional styles in each language. Functional style is a device of communication. Each functional style has its own vocabulary means, syntactical constructions, or phonetics. Each functional style depends on the purpose of the text or the specific construction, specific conditions of communication in different situations. Every written or spoken discourse has a style. The word itself refers to some kind of a function. A style depends upon the purpose of the text or the specific conditions of communication in different situations. According to Galperin, functional style is a system of interrelated language means serving a definite aim in communication. According to Arnold, Soviet and Russian linguist specialists in lexicology, styles can be divided into two groups: colloquial styles, literary bookish style. And according to Galperin, we can distinguish styles into five official business style and publicist style, scientific prose style, and literary colloquial style. And the last one is familiar colloquial style. In the English literary standard, the following functional styles are distinguished. Are included. And first, the belles letters functional style, the publicistic functional style, the newspaper functional style, the scientific prose, and the last one is official documents functional style. Each functional style is divided into substyles also. First one, the belles letters style, divided into three substyles. First, poetry, emotive prose, and drama. The publicistic functional style are oratory, essays, articles in magazines and newspapers. The newspaper functional style is brief news items, advertisements and announcements, headlines, the editorial, the scientific style, exact sciences, humanitarian sciences, popular science prose. Official documents functional style is diplomatic documents, business letters, military documents, legal documents. And let's move to notion of style in linguistics. The word has derived from the Latin word stylus, which means a sharpened stick used by Romans for writing on wax tablets. Style is addition to language. This concept is popular and is upheld in some of the scientific papers on literary criticism. Language and style are regarded as separate bodies, but language can easily dispense with style. According to Bloomfield, style is a selection of non-distinctive features of language. The most frequent definition of style is the one expressed by Seymour Chapman. Style is a product of individual choices and patterns of choices among linguistic possibilities. And thus, for instance, we speak of Oscar Wilde's idiolect with witticism in a form of paradoxes, and as Hemingway's idiolect full of short dialogues with iceberg technique involved. And Bookish style corresponds to public speech, non-casual and formal. This division doesn't coincide with the division into spoken and written language because colloquial style can use it in fiction. And bookish style, represented, for example, by a rhetorical style, exists in the oral form only. The belles lettres style. According to Galperin, this is a generic term for three substyles: the language of poetry, emotive prose, the language of fiction, or the language of the drama. Each of these substyles has certain common features, and each of them enjoys some individuality. The common features of the substyles are the following: the aesthetico cognitive function and definite linguistic function. The belles lettres style is individual in essence. This is one of its most distinctive properties. The language of poetry is characterized by its orderly form, which is based mainly on the rhythmic and phonetic arrangement of the utterances. Newspaper style, English newspaper writing dates from the 17th and 18th century. These times, newspaper style was very popular among the publicists, and information in the English newspaper is conveyed through the medium of brief news items and announcements, advertisements, and editorial, and also brief informations. And abbreviations. The style of we can use abbreviations in the style of official documents, especially legal and military documents. The language of diplomacy, the language of military documents, like other styles of language. This style has a definite communicative aim and its own system of interrelated language and stylistic means. All these varieties use abbreviations, conventional symbols, and contractions. For example, MP, Member of Parliament, Limited, LTD, and dollar. Abbreviations are especially abundant in military documents. They are used not only as conventional symbols, but also as signs of military code. Syntactical structure of publicistic style. The term publicistic style is a coinage of Russian linguists. Foreign researchers speak of different names for publicistic style. For example, newspaper, news media language, journalistic language, and newspaper language. But in Russian linguistics, the publicistic style is understood as a variety of language that carries out simultaneously two functions. There are two functions, informative and expressive, and is used in public and political series of documents. And the oratorical style, first one is oratorical style. Second, the style of TV and radio commentaries, the style of the essay, the style of a journalistic article or book, political, historical, literary, academic, and traveling. The language of mass media is with the following substyles: the language of newspapers, magazines, radio, and television. Then, general aim of publicistic style is to elucidate, to influence the public opinion, to convince the reader's opinion to the author's opinion to the readers with influencing them. Expressiveness can be detected in lexical characteristics of newspapers, magazines, and broadcasting, and also in headlines. English mass media are abundant in connotative colloquial words and phrases, even slangs like I shore, black leg words, drunk driving, abbreviations like champ for champion, E-Germans for East Germans, metaphorical and metonymical associations are not infrequent. English and American journalists take liberties with well-known public leaders, like calling them by nicknames. Like old folks, the nickname of Adenauer, Gorby for Gorbachev, Rocky for Rockefeller, and Ike for Eisenhower. And the East was very popular in the 17th and 18th century. In the 17th century, essays were written on topics connected with morals and ethics, while those of 18th century focused attention on political and philosophical problems. In comparison with oratorical style, the essay aims at a more lasting and hence at a slower effect. The most characteristic language features of the essay, however, remain brevity of expression and the use of the first person singular, which justifies a personal approach to the problems treated, the abundant use of emotive words, and use of similes and metaphors is one of the media for the cognitive process. And in conclusion, we would like to say that political, ideological, ethical, social beliefs and statements of the addresser are prevailingly expressed in the written form, which was labeled publicist in accordance with the name of the corresponding genre and its practitioners. Publicistic style is famous for its explicit pragmatic function of persuasion directed at influencing the reader. And this is the end of my presentation.
Questions?
However, as many substyles in publicistic style, mostly not.
Publicistic style?
In
In publicistic style,